So welcome to the next segment of Blue Prism World. And I'm very pleased to be here today with Vivek Khurana. Vivek leads the global RPA and overall automation business at Pfizer. And Pfizer is one of Blue Prism's most prominent customers in this space. So we are really excited to have you here, Vivek, today. Vivek is going to share with all of you best practices that he has been able to bring to Pfizer's automation strategy and the business outcomes that's been delivering for Pfizer for the last number of years. So we really hope you guys enjoy this next segment and learn a lot from what Vivek will share with you. So Vivek, thank you very much for joining. I have a few questions that I'd love to run through with you. The first one is around your goals. What are the top 3 goals for Pfizer in the area of automation strategy?
First off, Linda, thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure working with you guys. It's been a great partnership, so I appreciate that. We at Pfizer, it's a really great opportunity kind of working with Blue Prism and with the goal of automating individual and enterprise productivity and unlocking value. We do this by automating manual processes that are repetitive and kind of make them automated with higher risk compliance. And in the end, what is unique to our industry, it unlocks a value which is really important in these days. We help move medicines faster to the market, which is, you can imagine in today's time, is the utmost advantage for us.
And you mentioned today's time, and throughout Blue Prism World, that has come to the forefront. And there's a really good reason for that, because as businesses look to be more productive, to drive business outcomes faster than they've ever had to before, and in a very different way, in a virtual way, automation has come to the forefront. So how in the last few months now has your strategy around what you automate, where your focus is, how quickly you need to do things, how has that changed?
So let's start with Pfizer's purpose, to deliver breakthroughs that change patients' lives. And nowadays, it's even more important with the current environment. Mm-hmm. We do this by automating processes that are in our global product development. So post our clinical studies, there's a whole clinical cycle that it's called the operational clinical cycle. We help automate processes in there that reduce that cycle time. In other words, this helps reduce the time it takes for medicines and therapies to get to market. We've been using automation across extensively around these. Even after that, during our promotional period, we're using intelligent automation, which is a combination of RPA and other technologies that complement this really nicely to help with doing promotional material review, which is again unique to our industry, but again helping towards making therapies get to the right patients faster. So to be honest, that's really what makes me proud here working at Pfizer as well.
That's great. I hear that from a lot of our customers because they're able to participate in something that is still relatively new. You've been using RPA for a long time, yet now you're starting to integrate it with other technologies to drive those stronger business results. And as I shared with you in our earlier chats, one of the areas that I focus at with Blue Prism is the Technology Alliance Partnership Program, where we try to think ahead, right, and prepare for our customers and for our partners. What are the other technologies in the market that are going to be integrated with Blue Prism to give the digital workers skills? That's how we talk about it. But what skills will those digital workers need? What technologies and companies are going to be important for Blue Prism to have relationships with? So then you in turn, and with your partner community, can integrate those technologies faster. So I am very interested to hear, what are some of the key technologies that you've integrated? How has that worked? And what would you expect or request of Blue Prism to enable you to do that better and faster in the future?
Yeah, so again, it's been a great partnership so far. We've been using RPA along with a lot of these AI capabilities. I would compare this to a human. RPA is the arms and legs. So we've
Mhm.
got the brain, which is the machine learning algorithms that helps us think in terms of judgment, recommendation, assist in classifying what am I looking at. We've got the eyes, which is our OCR capability, help us understand images, PDFs. So your Decipher platform helps in that. We've got OCR tools that we work with. And then there is the natural language processing, which is, to me, the most important piece is the translation to the human and the interaction with the human in itself. In addition to that, we partner with a lot of your technology alliance partners like IA Connect, which helps the bot have the skill of interacting with Citrix-based applications. It's
Right.
critical in unlocked a whole new world of automation that we could do. And the one that's really close to me is Timeline PI.
Mhm.
It's been key because it's helped us identify and prioritize what automation opportunities to go after and unlocking that ROI that we've been looking for and really maximizing that ROI. But in the end, we're also monitoring, are we achieving those ROI? So it's been a great journey so far.
That is excellent to hear. And Timeline PI, as you said, is a process mining company. And one of the things that we hear often from our customers is, okay, I've gotten great initial success from RPA, right? I've developed some automation. I've gotten the success I was looking for. What do I do next, right? That's one of the most common questions. And clearly, process mining helps you identify what to do next, but also answers that question. Are you getting what you expected? Do you need to do something differently to do that? So really glad to hear that. And my door is always open for the next technology partner you want us to have a relationship with. Now, one of the other areas that I promised the audience when I kicked this off was the fact that you as a company have been doing this for a number of years. You are an expert in this space, and there are best practices that you can impart to others that might be a little bit earlier on their journey, or they may have started some time ago, but gotten in one of those places where they just don't know what to do next. So I'd love to hear from you. What are 3 or 4 of the key areas of advice you have for somebody that's early on their journey, and then someone that has been at this for a year or so, but isn't finding the secret to scale?
Absolutely. Happy to partner with the community here. Always available for a conversation. I think I'll start with something very basic and crucial: communication. Communication and change management is the key to the success and widespread success. There needs to be a lot of awareness and adoption communication that needs to go out. And so what we did is we took the robotic operating model, the ROM, which to me is another key pillar in here for enterprise grade success, which helps and gives you the best practices across all the stages of a delivery. We added communication to each of those stages and made sure we were talking to people across, to our colleagues, to people who interact and conduct these processes day to day, and are talking about what the capability is, help them adopt, and in the end, communicate the value that this has brought back to them. So communication is another layer that adding that to the raw model, which already is really high up there, helped us achieve that industrialization stage in our ROM assessment. Which brings me to ROM assessment. I encourage each of you to go in and get a ROM assessment done by Prism. It has helped us get a measure of where we are to help manage the success and the next steps we need to take for success. So those are some of the key things. In our industry, compliance is another key factor. So we added compliance controls and compliance team members as part of the core team. I think that has been another pivoting factor for our success. By helping educate the compliance teams early on, we actually went one step ahead and automated some of the compliance processes first. So they got very comfortable with the automation and realized the value for it, and then became part of our core team for delivery, again, across all stages from the raw model. And that helped us achieve the scale we were looking for. So some of the key advantages of using the raw model and then kind of enhancing that.
That's amazing. So, for those that are newer to Blue Prism in our audience today, the robotic operating model, or the ROM, is one part of Blue Prism's intellectual property. I always say it sits side by side with the software platform, and that really is what brings Blue Prism differentiation to the market. So, so happy to hear that that's making a real difference for you. And it's incumbent upon us as a company to keep that ROM updated. So listening to customers, listening to you say, there's another aspect that you all need to add to the ROM, right? The communication aspect. How do you make sure that throughout the organization, the people that are critical to your end game success, the business outcome, are included up front in that planning stage? Because there's a lot of roles in the company that are critical to the outcome of success in automation. It's not a technical development tool, right? It's a business tool. So, as we transition into the next topic, I want to talk a little bit about who's helped you along this road. Can you talk about what are probably the top 4 or 5 roles within the company that are critical to the success of the business outcomes you're driving?
The key roles are, first off, executive sponsorship. We at Pfizer were really lucky to get that sponsorship across the enterprise, which helped drive a lot of adoption across the enterprise. The second one is the process owner or subject matter expert buy-in. The process that you're going to automate, you want to make sure you're optimizing, you have the right buy-in, and you're bringing the process owner along as you're automating the process. The third is the application owner for the applications that you're automating against. Why that is really key is the application owner can provide us insight into the best way to interact with that application. An example is SAP. There are different transaction codes, and there are transaction codes that make it simpler to interact with SAP, as well as the changes that are going to come down the line from the application perspective. Having that application owner buy in and being part of the core delivery team definitely helps. In the end, it's the core delivery team that helps bring everybody together and deliver on that benefit in the end.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Now, one other area of people that I know have been critical to your success are another group of folks that are very important to Blue Prism's business, our go-to-market partners. We've worked very closely with our go-to-market partners over a number of years now to ensure that they have the capabilities to work very closely with our customers because they're often the ones that work with you in understanding your business processes and then helping you bring those business processes to life through automation. So can you tell us a little bit about your relationships with some of the business partners that we have in the market, some of the alliances or specialty VARs, and how that's helped you progress your strategy over time?
Sure, absolutely. Linda, we've got now close to 450 automation processes in production. We're looking at close to 150,000 hours annually that have been transitioned to the digital workforce. About 35 million in annual cost avoidance, and a much higher number from a cost saving perspective. We wouldn't be able to achieve these without our technology implementation partners. The key benefit of doing that is achieving the scale at a very consistent manner, and which is very key to having a scaled delivery model. And another thing that has been really advantageous for us is these technology implementation partners bring in the same ROM best practices and templates that have been driven by Blue Prism. So whether you're using vendor A or B, it doesn't matter. You're kind of delivering on the same ROM model. And that consistency definitely helps in the scale.
That's excellent to hear. I will share that with my friends at Deloitte and some of the
Absolutely.
other partners that I know have worked with Pfizer over time. There's a few other areas as you expand now, as you start to think of the next wave of types of things that you see in your strategy. Are there requests that you might have from Blue Prism as to how we could help you as you start to investigate the next wave of automation strategy? Now we talk about the hyper automation curve, right? Things are moving very quickly, new technologies coming in all the time. What can Blue Prism do to help you get the best leverage out of that hyper automation strategy?
Absolutely. So what we do, Linda, is we have quarterly reviews with the Blue Prism team, understanding from an industry perspective where Pfizer is, what the Blue Prism roadmap looks like, as well as where we should be going. And having that quarterly review helps us shape the direction we need to go towards. Very specifically, Pfizer now is looking for a lot more intelligent automation. We're going after the highly complex, high value automations at this time and really transforming the business in itself and how we get these therapies to market. So it's been really key in having those reviews from time to time. Knowing what new technologies and technology partners are coming into this landscape definitely helps in us doing that.
That's great. And one of the things that we've been talking a lot about at Blue Prism is what is our strategy around our customers? Our strategy around our customers is to make you a customer for life. And from what you've shared in just the last few minutes, it sounds like we're on the right pathway to do that. And why is that important? It's important that we stay in the forefront for our customers. We can't stay in the forefront of their industry and how that's going to evolve, nor their own business strategies on how they will evolve, but we surely can stay in the forefront of ensuring that we have the solution that's going to be there for you as you need it. So we will continue to do that on your behalf. And I am very glad to hear you say, right, you have an account team within Blue Prism, you have an account team within Deloitte and other partners, and then you obviously have your team within Pfizer. How do you expect those teams to work together in your common best interest? What are some of the things that you've seen them do to ensure that you get the best outcome that you're trying to drive?
A really interesting question. So one of the key advantages that we've had is getting everybody to work together is first indicating what our goals are, what our mission is, and kind of helping them and motivating them and empowering them to bring in the right ideas to help us achieve that. Our Blue Prism provides us the new and latest technologies. Our implementation partners have been giving us the best practices and the accelerators that we need in terms of achieving those missions even faster. One of the key advantage of doing that by providing the mission and clarity around the mission is we've been getting a lot of reusable assets that has really driven and accelerated our speed to get the automations in production and realizing that value in the end. So it's been a great ride so far.
We want to continue on that ride with you, and we will bring all the partnerships to bear that make you have the strongest solution in the market. And we really appreciate your time today in helping others in your industry hear what they can do to continue to evolve their integrations and their RPA solutions, their business automation strategies. So, Vivek, thank you so much for spending time with us today. We really appreciate it. And we hope that you get the best out of all the efforts that Blue Prism, our partners, your technology partners can bring to bear for you so you can continue to drive a strong automation strategy. And for the folks in the audience that just got to listen to all the best ideas that you have, I know they'll appreciate it. Have a great rest of Blue Prism World.
Linda, thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure. And I'm looking forward to talking to everyone around during Blue Prism World as well. Thank you.